Right, so the first step of course is to weigh the old battery pack before we add the new battery, plus to weigh the control room 622, because we'll come back to that at the end, because that's going to assist with the trim. So I've added one extra battery, and I'm putting this heat shrink sleeve over, which doesn't go over the other one, which I'm a bit disappointed with. So as a consequence, after I shrunk it, then I've wired it up, and I'm using a new plug. So I'm just putting in some epoxy into the end. As I've said on many occasions, this seals the plugs brilliantly from the back, and they seem to last forever like this. It's really very good. I needed to increase the length of the wire, that's the reason I'm doing that. So here we have it, and I'm using here some tape, special tape that bonds onto itself, just to increase the strength around where this new battery is. What I now plan to do is to seal this using this amazing stuff called plasti dip. You can buy this as a spray, but that's no good for what we want. We want something that you dip into. It costs a bit, costs about $50, this stuff, but it's just brilliant for these things. You dip it in and then hold it, let it drip for a while. I ended up dipping it, I think, about three times in total, just to get a perfect cover. And while I'm at it, I've dipped the bottom of the servos. That's the place where any water gets in, if it will do. And there's an increase in weight. Have to keep note of that. Now this is the old control room, and I'm now just going to cut off this tab with all of the wires in it. Unfortunately my knife has decided to self-destruct. Better pull that out and fix it, because I'm going to rewire the whole thing. And this little system, I have to say, works really well. A nice little bit of a little bit of silastic under there, and screw it on, and that works really, really well. I've never had a leak through this, but look at those wires, my God. Anyway, I'm going to try and rebuild this and make it as clean as possible. So I'm going to start with a brand new tray that I'm going to build into the end cap, and it needs to be a bit longer. It's got a lot more to hold, and I'm going to build all around it. So I'm just, can't see this, but I'm just screwing it into place, and put some threads as usual into the perspex. And I've got to arrange everything so that I miss the tail end of this piston. As you know, it really causes some logistical issues. But that top cover is going to fit, that plate's going to work in there quite nicely. As you can see it there, piston fits above it, and it sits onto the motor for the piston as well. So there's a lot of room there for me to start adding a lot of equipment onto that. Now we are going to try out the system again. You can hear it all clicking in the background. This is one last test before we start to put all of this into the control room. And you can see I've wired up the boat's batteries to this, as opposed to the laptop, so it's all running independently. And this is the diving sequence, I think. This is the surfacing sequence. servo's working nicely, everything's running pretty well. So I'm right at the point now where I think I should be able to put this into the boat. So the first thing to do is to fasten in this substantial block of relays, and then the Arduino Nano, and then 2 speed controllers. This isn't in order, of course. I have the V-tail, the self-leveling device from Microgyros, the radio unit, and here's the pressure sensor, which won't go in there at all anyway. So it's all got to fit in somewhere. So the first thing I thought I'd do is just use these units and just see how it looks they're going to fit. So I've got some blue tack here, and I'm just blue tacking on the speed controllers because I figured I want to get them as far away from the Arduino as possible. I'm not sure that they would interfere. I'll just keep them right out of the way, and right out of the way of the radio, so they're right down near the piston now. Just try that out. And here it is, I've blue tacked it all in. The radio fits in beautifully into the end. The speed controllers are sitting there. The relay units blue tacked to the bottom. And it all looks, I think it all looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. The basic positioning is right, and it will all fit. So now I need to start the big job, of course, which is wiring it up. So I'm going to turn it upside down this time. It's got a little happy mouth. I'm going to put the wires in through the base. The last time they were in through the top, but I want to run the wires in underneath the relays and only bring them up to the top when it's necessary. That looks like it's going to be a good way of doing it. Okay, that's it.